Jackson, Tennessee, and welcome to the Tennessee Real Estate Commission meeting for Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. I'll at this time ask our Director, Caitlin Maxwell, if she'll read in our public disclaimer.
Okay. Notice of the May meeting of the Real Estate Commission, including date, time, and location, has been noticed on the Tennessee Real Estate website since November 3rd, 2022. Additionally, this month's agenda has been posted on the website since Friday, May 5th, 2023. Now for the roll call. Commissioner Joe Begley.
Here.
Commissioner Jeff Diaz. Commissioner DJ Ferris.
Here.
Commissioner Steve Gwynn. Commissioner John Moffitt.
Here.
Commissioner Joan Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Stacy Torbett.
Here.
Commissioner Kathy Tucker. Chair Marcia Franks.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Great. Okay, at this time, I'm going to ask Commissioner Tolbert, if she would, to lead us in prayer and pledge to the flag, please.
Bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. Thank you for the safe travel. Thank you for every person that's here today. Give us wisdom and discernment in the decisions that we make, and bless our efforts, and help us to honor you with all of our words and actions. Give us safe travel as we travel back home. Lead, guide, and direct us in all that we do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please stand. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Ms. Tolbert. And now we're going to move on to the approval of the agenda. Does anyone have any thing they would like to add to the agenda or change about the agenda?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right. We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ferris and a second by Ms. Tolbert. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Now we'll move on to the approval of the April 12th, 2023 minutes. Are there any corrections or changes that need to be made to the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second.
All right. We have a motion by, let's see.
Commissioner Baker.
Yeah, Commissioner Begley, and then a second by Ms. Smith. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Okay, so we're going to move. First of all, I want to say, make sure that you have, first of all, we appreciate all of you being here today. This is a great turnout for us. I always love coming to Jackson and to West Tennessee. We do this once a year. By statute, we're required to go to one meeting in East Tennessee and one meeting in West Tennessee. And so we're always happy to come to Jackson. Thank you for the hospitality that the Realtor Association had dinner for us last night. It was very nice. We actually got a treat and got to drive to Humboldt and see the Strawberry Festival going on. And thank you to our Strawberry Queen for bringing us some strawberries to take home with us today. I also wanted to say a special hello to former Commissioner Janet DeChara, who's here with us today. We're glad you're here, Janet. She was a real valuable person to this commission. All right, so now we're going to move on to our informal appearances. Our first one is candidate A.
Is Mr. Washington available on the Teams platform?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, thank you. And is your principal broker, okay, it looks like you're both
Yes,
ready.
I'm present.
Okay, thank you. We will read a summary, and then I will turn it back over to Chair Franks, and then she will turn it over to you, Mr. Washington.
Yes, ma'am.
So before you, you have applicant Mr. Washington and his principal broker, Brandon Baca. Mr. Washington has not taken the Tennessee Real Estate Broker exam as the time of this summary. The firm is 10 Oaks Real Estate, doing business as Brandon B. Homes. A summary of the criminal and disciplinary sanction is shoplifting, and Mr. Washington's statement and letter of recommendation can be found on your iPad.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Washington.
Good,
How we're gonna work this is, we'll start with, the applicant, Mr. Washington, if you would to tell us about, your circumstances, what got you, here before us today, what, the circumstances were around, the crime, and then also, what you're wanting to do in real estate, and what made you decide to go into real estate, please.
okay, so the circumstances that led me here today was a simple shoplifting charge. Back in 2016, 2017, I believe. Just young, made a mistake, and it really led me to real estate today. Just want to do better and better my life and my circumstances. And so far, real estate has been the key for me.
Okay, so what do you mean by real estate has been the key for you?
Just giving me a different outlet, a different way to look at my life and the goals that I want out of life, pretty much. Just wanting to be able to help people as well as myself in my situation.
And how long ago did the crime occur, and what have you been doing since that time?
I've recently been a truck driver, and the incident happened back in 2015, 2016. Since then, I've just been finding different career outlets, trying to find what fits me best. And like I said, real estate has been a good outlet, I feel like, for me, just for the fact that I would like to do something more meaningful, which is helping people.
And tell us how you know your principal broker.
Mr. Becca has been an awesome guide in helping me with my real estate journey. Just being hands-on, any questions that I have. I've recently met him at a meeting he had held for his brokerage, and that's where I was interested to follow his brokerage.
And where's that brokerage located?
It's located in Franklin, Tennessee.
Okay. Do any of the other commissioners have questions of Mr. Washington? If not, we'll move on to your principal broker, Mr. Becca. If you would, sir, tell us a little bit about your company, about your training of your new people, what your plans are for Mr. Washington, and anything you'd like us to know about this case.
Yeah, certainly. 10 Oaks Real Estate was founded by me about 3.5 years ago. I'd previously been and built a real estate company in Oklahoma, did some expansion into Texas and Tennessee, and then started my own firm about 3 years ago. We have an extensive training program that's mainly focused on three main parts of real estate. One of them is lead generation. The second one is customer service, doing a great job for your customers to get referrals. And then the third is teaching people how to build teams, build brokerages, build themselves up. As far as Mr. Washington is concerned, I went ahead and invited him to a couple of our events so that he could get an idea of what our culture is here at 10 Oaks. That we are a training culture. I've been very impressed with him. He's really made effort to move himself forward in life, to move on from those things that he's done in the past. And so I have high hopes for him to be a very high-functioning real estate agent for our firm.
How many agents do you currently have?
Currently in Tennessee, we have about 35 agents.
Okay, so do you have a license in another state also?
I do not maintain a license in any other state.
Okay. Tell us about, before he goes out to write a listing or a contract, What's your plan? How do you help him with that?
Well, basically, we have, before we get into any of that stuff, we walk through an 8-week orientation with our real estate agents, right, to get them up and off the ground. We cover everything in terms of how to get business and then how to, from a lead generation perspective, and then what to do with the business when you have it. So we go extensively through contract stuff, try to get ahead of any potential issues or normal things that come up during the course of a purchase or sale. So that happens in, like I said, in an 8-week program, 8-week orientation program.
Okay. Do any of the commissioners have questions for the principal broker? Does anyone have any more questions for Mr. Washington? Would anyone like to make a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
You make a motion to what?
Approve this candidate.
Okay, all right. So we have a motion by Ms. Torbett to approve this candidate and a proper second by Mr. Begley. Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. That motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Mr. Washington, and we hope that you'll make your principal broker proud. Just always do the right thing.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, now we're going to move to the second candidate is B.H. Powers. Is that person on the line?
Henry Powers, are you on the line and is your principal broker?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
thank
here.
you. Okay, is your principal broker also available on Teams?
Yes,
Okay.
she should be.
Okay, great, thank you. So this will go similar. I'll read a summary and then turn it back over to Chair Franks and then turn it over to you.
Okay.
So as of this summary, Mr. Powers has taken the Tennessee Real Estate Affiliate Broker exam. His principal broker, Tina Baker, is also available. And the firm is Real Broker LLC. A summary of the criminal and disciplinary sanction is burglary habitation. Mr. Powers' statement and letter recommendation can be found on your iPad.
All right, good morning, Mr. Powers. Glad to have you here today, and Ms. Baker. Would you, just like we did with the first candidate, I don't know if you heard that or not, but would you tell us about your circumstances and what led you to be before us today, what you've been doing since, and why you want to be in the real estate business?
Oh, yes, ma'am. What led me to be in front of y'all today is that I was in the military. I ended up getting married and I got deployed. I went through a very bad divorce being deployed. And after that resulted in me of getting out of the military. After that, I government contract. I started my own trucking company, and I also started dabbling around in real estate, and that's when I fell in love with it. And how I found out about the company going to today is through my wife, and she found out about it through one of her contacts in her Caldwell Banker job.
So is your wife a licensed agent?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you say you've been dabbling in real estate, what exactly do you mean by dabbling in real estate?
As being a real estate investor, ma'am, and fixing and flipping homes.
Okay. And how long ago was this incident?
This incident happened back in 2007.
Okay, so you're off probation and all your restitution, all that's over with then, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do any of the commissioners have questions for Mr. Powers?
I'll say thanks for your service.
Yes, sir.
Thank
we
you,
do.
sir.
Okay, so we're going to move on to Ms. Baker. And Ms. Baker, if you would, tell us about how you know Mr. Powers, about your training in your office, and why you would come here today on his behalf to stand up for him. We can't hear you. I think you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. Yes, our company offers very extensive training with daily masterminds and extensive knowledge library that is accessible to any agent at any time, 24 hours a day. I personally teach pre-licensing and other CE classes, and I know him through his wife, who is also an agent with our company.
Okay, great. Can you tell us, one of the big concerns that we all as commissioners see at every meeting is problems that people have as they initially fill out listings and contracts. Could you tell us a little bit about how you assist him with that?
We have video available, as I said, 24/7, where I have literally gone through the contracts, and they can access that at any time. And of course, they can always reach out to me if they want to ask specific questions about any specific deal that they're doing, or what goes on a particular line, or how to handle those sorts of situations that do come up.
Okay, so you're available even at the beach, if you're at the beach, right?
Yes, I am.
I'm a principal broker, I understand that. Okay, good. Now, how many agents do you have presently?
98.
You have 98. Where are you located?
I'm in the Knoxville area.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for the principal broker? Anybody have any more questions for Mr. Powers? Okay. Someone like to make a motion?
I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion. We approve Mr. Powers by Commissioner Smith and a second by Commissioner Moffitt. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries unanimously, Mr. Powers. Congratulations, and we wish you the best of luck, and thank you, Ms. Baker, for being here also.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all.
Good luck to you.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Candidate number 3, C.W. Setzer.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Ms.
Okay,
Maxwell.
it looks like everybody's here. The applicant before you is Wyatt Setzer and his principal broker, Jim Carollo. Not sure if I pronounced that correctly.
Corello.
Corello, thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Setzer has taken the Tennessee Real Estate Affiliate Broker exam. The firm is Redfin Corporation. A summary of the criminal and disciplinary sanction is CE disciplinary. Mr. Setzer's statement and letter of recommendation can be found in your packet.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Setzer.
Good
Glad
morning.
you're here, and Mr. Corello.
Good morning.
Were you able to hear the other applicants? So you know how this goes. So you'll tell us about what your circumstances were that got you in trouble and what you've done since then. And then also, Mr. Setzer, if you will tell us about why you're wanting to get a real estate license, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've been in real estate since fresh out of high school. I got my Washington license in 2016. My Idaho license, I'm coming up on 3 years now. So, my first initial renewal for Idaho, I mistakenly purchased the wrong package for CE hours. I actually purchased the package that was necessary for the subsequent renewal. And I can assure you, I had no idea that I purchased the wrong one. It was the right amount of hours. It was just the wrong package altogether. As soon as Idaho audited me about it, I made sure to purchase the correct one. It was about a 4-week buffer there. And I completed them in a weekend, sent them over to them. And because of the timely manner, I think they decided to kind of just reprimand it. That's pretty much the case there. I didn't, it's kind of against my morals and standards to ever falsify anything. I would never want to do that purposefully. So As soon as I realized my mistake, I kind of got handled.
So how many years were you a licensee in Idaho?
So I'm actually still technically active there. It's been approaching 3 years now.
And where do you live?
I just moved to Nashville about a month ago from the northern panhandle of Idaho.
Okay, congratulations. I know you love it there. Okay.
Appreciate it.
So this was, you're saying, was just a mistake you took the wrong class, is that correct?
Correct, yeah. So in Idaho and Washington, it seems like they work a little different than Tennessee. The first renewal after your first 2 years has to be a different package. So you take two post license credits. I actually took the 2 core credits instead. So it was actually the one that was supposed to be after that first renewal.
Okay. Any of the commissioners have questions for Mr. Setzer?
I would just make the remark that I imagine Mr. Setzer will be the last individual we see with CE problems.
You think he will be?
He'll be the last person we see, I imagine, after having had to go through that in Idaho. So thanks for sharing your story.
I appreciate it.
All right, so now we're going to move to Mr. Corello. If you would tell us how you know Mr. Setzer, why you want him to be an agent in your company, and tell us a little bit about your business and your training, please.
All right. So Wyatt so I'm with Redfin Corporation. We're nationwide. And Wyatt has been with our company for the past 3 years, but just not in Tennessee. So transferring here, we'd like to have him fill his capacity here, the same capacity as an associate agent, an agent that doesn't necessarily, they don't write deals or list homes, but they do show properties and assist clients there's lead agents and then associate agents, and Wyatt would be an associate agent, at least for now. As far as training, he's been through our initial training, which is 10 hours of training, and then ongoing training out there. And then here now he's obviously got to learn the way of doing things here in Tennessee. And I and other managers will assist him with that. So it's not like he's starting from scratch with us. I don't remember the other questions.
Has he already taken the exam, this Tennessee exam?
Sorry, I'll butt in on that. I have not taken the state exam yet. So I initially put in my worksheet 8, I believe it was. And then that's when they requested, once they saw my license history, they requested me to go attend this board meeting. So still working on kind of figuring out exactly what criteria I have to study to take that state portion of the exam.
And Mr. Corello, where is your office located?
In Franklin.
Okay, and so you live in Middle Tennessee?
I live in Franklin, yeah.
Okay, so he's available. You'll be available to him if he needs any help.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, anybody have questions of this principal broker? Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
What is your motion, Mr. Moffitt? To approve?
What?
To approve him?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And we have a proper motion by Mr. Moffitt that we approve Mr. Setzer for licensure, and a second by Ms. Tolbert. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. That motion carries unanimously, Mr. Setzer. Congratulations. I'm sure you're going to have a lot warmer winter here in Middle Tennessee than you did in Idaho. So congratulations, and make your principal broker proud.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Take care.
Okay,
Thank you.
All right, so we're moving on to candidate C.W. DeMumbrium. Ms. Maxwell?
Is Wayford DeMumbrian on the line? Yes, okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, applicant Wayford DeMumbrian and his principal broker, Stacy Coleman, are before you Mr. DeMumbrian has taken the real estate affiliate broker exam. A summary of the criminal and disciplinary sanction is theft and joyriding. Mr. DeMumbrian's statement and letter recommendation can be found on your iPad.
Good morning, Mr. DeMumbrian and Ms. Coleman. Thank you for being here
Good morning.
today. Were you able to hear the last applicants and the questions that I asked them?
Yes, ma'am. I believe it was what led me to you today and what real estate is to me.
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, what led me to get to you guys today was I was a freshman in college, and let's say I just wanted to get a motorcycle. And within getting that motorcycle, everything on my end was, from my point of view, was done properly. I got a bill of sale, paid the guy for the bike, and it comes to find out later that, you know, me and my mom was contacted that the bike was actually stolen, and the person that sold it to me was actually not the owner of the bike. So me never being in trouble with the law before, me never being arrested before, nothing. Me and my mom, you know, we go down to the police department to kind of clear everything up, let them know what happened, show the paperwork that I received, things like that. The judge, you know, saw that. The person that the bike owned, that owns the bike, also saw that, and they kind of, you know, was like, okay, you didn't try to steal anything. You was acting in good faith. We're just gonna amend the theft charge down to joyriding, but we couldn't find the person that sold me the bike. So, you know, I kind of had to deal with all that. But, you know, I was in college, freshman, that was 10 years ago. Since then, you know, I've been in my community, helping out, just trying to mentor kids, just trying to, you know, teach them to slow down and make this, and really watch what they're doing and pay attention to what they're doing as they're growing up. So things like that don't happen to them.
So, Mr. DeMumbrian, I'm proud that you and your mother went to straighten this out. Did I understand correctly that you found this motorcycle on a Craigslist, so it was a person that you didn't even know that sold it to you?
Yes, ma'am. It's kind of like Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp. Craigslist was kind of that before Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp at that time.
Yeah.
And that would be the site that you would go on to find whatever you was trying to buy at the time. And, you know, I typed in motorcycles and I saw plenty of them, and I just chose the wrong one.
Yeah. So what have you been doing since that time, and why do you want to be get a real estate license?
Since that time, I love kids, so I've actually been helping out at my church camp every summer. It's called Camp Thunderbird. It's a 7-day Adventist church. I'm a counselor, looking to be director next year. But it's a 7-day Adventist church, and I kind of, you know, we teach the kids about God and kind of get them in their spirituality, as well as show them fun and give them, you know, great activities and stuff like that. I also have been, you know, a person at the Boys and Girls Club, mentoring kids there. And since then, you know, just on my journey of finding what I wanted to do, I was kind of led to real estate by one of my mentors. I just kind of saw how he was and the things that he did in life. He's a real estate investor. His name is James Patrick. He lives in Atlanta now. But the things that he does, I was like, I want to be like that. So I was like, what do you do to get where you are? And he was, you know, he's a real estate investor, real estate agent. And he told me, and he kind of put me as a young college student up until now, he kind of had me under his wing, like showing me the things that he does and, you know, teaching me about real estate and the market and the potential that you can, you know, change as far as helping someone get into a home that doesn't know the process, doesn't know the start, doesn't know where to go and things like that. I was very interested in that and I loved it. So I knew I wanted to get into that, as well as it showing me how I could change, you know, the trajectory of my family. And eventually when I have kids, how I can, you know, be able to provide for my family and stuff like that. So that's what really made me want to get into real estate.
Okay, great. Okay, anyone have any questions for Mr. DeMumbrian? All right, let's move on and talk to your principal broker, Ms. Coleman. And would you tell us how you know him, what your plans are for him, and a little bit how you're going to train him, please?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. I met Mr. DeMumbrium from one of my current agents that has been with me for 2 years now. I've been a licensed broker for about 3 years, been a realtor for 19 years altogether. My training program is pretty much my new agents don't write contracts of their own for the first 12 weeks. Everything is written by me on their behalf as I teach them how to represent buyers and sellers and investors. We do go through a 12-week boot camp where I mentor them each individually. I meet them where they are. I am currently in Mexico, so even though I am on vacation, I am still accessible and showing up for my agents every day.
Well, good for you. I'm glad you're on vacation. We want to be there with you. And I'd like to say, Ms. Coleman, you answered that exactly how I like for principal brokers to answer, that you're walking, you'll be walking them through the steps, especially on contracts and listings, because that's where we see more problems happen, is when contracts are not done correctly. So I appreciate your comments about that. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Coleman? I'd like to say this to Mr. DeMumbrium, that you're probably not surprised that the majority of the applicants that come before us that have gotten in trouble are usually either right out of high school or in college. And sometimes things happen to people that they have no intention of doing anything wrong, and you certainly sound like one of those people. And I appreciate how you're living your life out now too, especially for children. So any other questions of either of these two people? If not, is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
A second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Mr. Moffitt and a second by Ms. Smith. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. That motion carries unanimously. And good luck to you, Mr. DeMumbrium. I've got a real good feeling that you're going to do a really good job. And Ms. Coleman, congratulations on finding a quality person to be in your office. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much. You all have a great day.
Thank you. Have fun in Mexico. Okay, so next we have waiver requests.
I think we should have one more.
On the online agenda.
Okay, it's not on the agenda. Let's see. It's on the,
It's on the iPad.
yeah, okay.
Is Kayla Palmer present?
Oh.
So I'll read, and then if you both want to come up, you can speak where I'm speaking. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to Dickerson and Warren.
It's on the
Is that
iPad,
correct?
but it's not on the agenda.
Oh, wait. Okay. You're the waiver request.
No, well,
And then Nicole Dickerson and
Did we
Cassandra
skip
Warren.
did we skip an informal appearance? It's on our iPad, it's not on the agenda.
The one on the iPad is Ian
Nicole.
Dickerson and
Yes.
Cassandra Warren.
Yes, I see Miss Warren is here. Miss Warren, do you know if Nicole is present?
There she is.
Okay.
Yes, she's here.
Okay, great.
Okay. The applicant before you is Nicole Dickerson and her principal broker, Cassandra Warren. Ms. Dickerson has taken the Tennessee Real Estate Affiliate Broker exam. The firm is the Shuford Group, LLC. A summary of the criminal and disciplinary sanction is a cosmetology discipline. Ms. Dickerson's statement and letter of recommendation can be found on your iPad.
Okay, good morning. Ms. Dickerson and Ms. Warren. So, Ms. Dickerson, were you able to hear what the other applicants were saying as they were testifying? You're muted.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So just if you would also tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you here today before this commission, what you've been doing since, and a little bit about why you want to be in real estate, please.
Okay. As a child, I always had a passion for cosmetology as well as real estate. And right out of, I took some classes in high school, and then right out of high school, I went straight to cosmetology school. I got accredited, and basically just in the salon. I did not renew the license. I was working on an expired license. And at the time I was going through a divorce, I was dealing with some emotional stress for losing of some close family members. But for as real estate, I've always dreamed of being in real estate. My aunt was a realtor. I have purchased 2 homes of myself. And it's just something that I always wanted to do.
Okay, so tell me again about what got you in trouble. It was your cosmetology license expired, or?
Yes, ma'am. I was in the salon practicing on an expired license.
Okay. And how long ago was that?
That was 19. I think I paid the fees and cleared everything up in 2020.
Okay. Ms. Smith?
How did you know you were on an expired license?
The examiner came in during a visit, and that's when it came to my notice that the license was expired.
And how long had you been practicing with an expired license?
I think it was a year and a half.
So you've paid all your fines? You've made full restitution?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions for Ms. Dickerson? Ms. Warren, good morning to you. Good to see you. I first wanted to ask you, the Shuford Group, is this the, we have one in Franklin, Nick Shuford. Different company?
No, I'm for Success Realty.
Oh, okay. We had down the Shuford Group, LLC, and I thought, well, I know Nick Shuford, and he's in Franklin, so, okay, we just had that down wrong. So tell us a little bit about how you know Ms. Dickerson, and how you plan to train her, and what kind of real estate she'll be practicing.
Okay, so I met Nicole through a civic organization that I founded. We ride slingshots, so on the weekends we are motorcycle girls. But so I met her through a civic organization, and during the time she was trying to take her test, and she was just saying that, she was having problems passing the test. I was like, girl, go back and take the test, and you're gonna be fine. We're gonna do fine in real estate. I think you'll be an asset to us. And then when she called me and said that she had passed her test, and that she was, she had to come before you guys, and we were talking. So I think she had talked to another broker first, and then she came to talk to me. And I told her that I would be more than happy to sponsor her as her broker. So for me, I've been in real estate. It'll be 20 years in October. My firm, For Success Realty, has been around. It'll be 17 years in December. We are licensed Tennessee and Mississippi. I have about 27 agents under me that are Tennessee, and 6 that are licensed in Mississippi. So what we do is we have a trainer on staff here that's a one-on-one trainer that's going to sit down with her, go over the different things related to real estate. That's a one-on-one training. We have a monthly meeting where we do different trainings. Like tomorrow, we're doing contract writing. So we're going to go through the contract line by line on tomorrow. Deborah and I own the business together. During that time, while she's doing that, we have seasoned agents that will do mentoring. She can work with me. She can work with Deborah. That way she can come in and learn the aspects of being a great realtor and the customer service piece. So we do regular real estate, residential, and we do property management. So I manage about 550 houses between Tennessee and Mississippi.
Okay, great. Anybody have any questions for Ms. Warren?
Hello, Ms. Warren.
Hey.
Hey. Hey, I have a question. Do you have a system in place to keep up with license expiration dates?
Yes, we do. Yeah, I have an internal person that keeps up with the expirations of when when their license are expiring, when the E&O should be done and all of that. Yes, ma'am.
Very good, thank you.
Perfect. Anybody else have questions for Ms. Warren? Or any other questions for Ms. Dickerson? Okay, it seems we're ready to vote. All those in favor? Excuse me, we haven't had a motion yet. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Begley and a second by Ms. Smith to approve Ms. Dickerson for licensure. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Ms. Dickerson and Ms. Warren, good luck to you, and congratulations on becoming a Realtor.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, so now we're ready for the informal appearances. Ms. Maxwell?
Okay, the first waiver request that we have is for Kayla Palmer. And on your iPad, you should have a summary of the license number, the license expiration date, and the fee request. The waiver is seeking, it's due to E&O, an E&O lapse. And the waiver request is seeking a waiver of retesting due to the E&O lapse. And in your packet, you will also find a letter from the principal broker.
So, Ms. Maxwell, this person was, and I want to say on these waivers, we usually don't have people speak to them. We just discuss them. So let's see how we can go on this one. So, Ms. Maxwell, this person, their fee request is $1,200. So that tells me, have they been expired for over a year?
It's not expiration, it's related to an E&O suspension. So the license was suspended due to a lapse of E&O on 1/31/2022, and it has been suspended for a year. And so once you hit that 1 year mark, the penalties are accruing, but also once suspended for a year, you are required to retest. And so this waiver request is asking for a waiver of the retest requirement.
And not a return of the $1,200? Have they paid the $1,200?
Let me check.
We have not at this time, but we're willing to do that.
So no, they have not paid the $1,200.
Okay.
She was licensed in 21.
First license date is, yes, 1/15/2021.
So it was their first renewal period then?
It was the first renewal period. I believe the policy was for 1/15/2021 to 1/1/2022. And so it was suspended at the end of January of 2022 due to the lapse.
And was the principal broker also given a penalty?
So how we typically handle this is, since we have no idea of knowing when the agent will rectify their E&O, they're both simultaneously opened once we know what's happening with the broker or the affiliate's E&O.
So this is basically a case of they just want to not have to test again, is what's before us today.
Yes, it's a request for a waiver of the test.
This letter states that they understand that there's no notifications are sent to the agent or broker. Do we not send anything out?
No, there is a letter that's generated to the agent at their home address, an agent at the firm, and then the principal broker at the firm.
So that's you're not allowed to speak at this time, sorry. So this was I guess, some sort of misunderstanding, because we as licensees, we get it to our homes, we get it to our office. We hear this every single month that people don't get it. These things are sent out and they're sent to whatever address that we have on file. It's the licensees and the principal broker's duty to have the correct license address, so that, for this very reason, so that they can receive this. Joe, did you have any other questions about that?
Well, it seems to me, based on what we have here, that she switched firms in what the firm thought was the middle of a 2-year coverage period. It was only a 1-year term. So I can see where the confusion could happen, at least on the firm's part.
And so was this opened against the original principal broker before she moved to a new company?
No. Let me find out when the transfer occurred.
Yeah. After we get this.
So the license was transferred in June 29th of 2021.
And this penalty occurred when?
January of 2022.
Okay. So it's unusual that we allow questions of, we usually don't have the people who are on waivers to testify, but Mr. Begley has a question he'd like to ask. She answered it. Oh, she did? Okay, okay. So she answered that. So any other questions from anybody about this? I guess I would like to take the liberty of asking the person who would like to say something. Are you the principal broker, or are you the person that this is affecting?
I'm our operations manager for MW. Our principal broker is currently at the NAR convention in Washington, D.C.
Okay, we really can only hear from the principal broker.
Kayla is here though.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so Kayla, is there anything you want to tell us about anything that we don't have here, or we're missing?
I feel like you have all the information. I guess basically when I switched over, I don't feel like I got all the information when I originally was with the first brokerage. So when I switched to NW, I had a lot more support, but I feel like I didn't know some questions to ask. So it just was a misunderstanding, and I worked really hard to get my licensing and to accomplish that goal, and it's something I really love. And so I feel like given the opportunity, this will be rectified and not something to worry about again.
It would never happen again, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Questions from any of the commissioners? Mr. Begley, would you like to make a?
Oh, well, since you tested within the last couple of years, I think she's okay not to retest. We're going to go ahead and keep the fine, and I'll make a motion to allow no retesting with the $1,200 fine. Fee
Second.
paid, not fine, fee paid.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept her application by Mr. Begley and a second by Ms. Tolbert. It is important that the applicant know that that they will have to pay the $1,200 before they can be licensed, get that back. And just procedurally, Ms. Maxwell, how long will something like this take? Because she's, at this point, she's she's unlicensed.
Yes. So as soon as the penalty is paid, we already do have the new E&O in place.
Okay.
So as soon as the penalty is paid, we're able to remove the suspension because she has already obtained a new policy that is good until 2025.
Okay, great. Okay. All right, so we have a motion to approve this applicant's request. Mr. Ferris, did you have a question?
I did not have a question, no.
Ms. Smith?
I'd like to, excuse me. she has not paid the $1,200, correct?
Correct.
So I'd like to put a time limit on that penalty to be paid within 30 days or less.
Okay.
Before the license goes out of suspension.
Is that doable?
Yeah,
Okay, okay. All right, so we'll add that to the motion. If you, Ms. Tolbert, you're in agreement, Mr. Begley and Ms. Tolbert, you are in agreement to that? Okay. All right, so we're going to vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. That motion carries unanimously, so you won't have to retest, and I know that's a good thing. Okay, all right, so the next waiver request is from Clifton Jorgensen. Ms. Maxwell, will you tell us a little bit about this one?
Yes, I'm sorry. Okay, this is also a waiver of this is an E&O request, and it is a waiver of the $400 penalty. On your iPad, you'll see a summary. The license does not expire until 2024, and this licensee was suspended this past E&O cycle on 1/31/2023.
And did they ever have the E&O insurance? Because that was only 1 year's time. They were licensed in 2022.
Yes, so let me pull up the exact policy details, but we do see this happen occasionally with new licensees. They think the policy that they bought when they became licensed is good, but unless you're buying a policy after the policy period, which typically the enrollment period starts in October, right before the renewal cycle, you're only buying a prorated policy.
Okay.
So the policy that they had was good from 9/20/2022 until 1/1/2023.
So do any of the commissioners have any questions or comments about this case?
I don't quite understand what he wants here, because he says he paid the prorated amount for the year, and he wants his license reinstated so that it's not suspended, I guess. But he wants $400?
So I think what he is referencing as the prorated policy is he paid the prorated E&O policy for September of 2022 to January 1st of 2023, and his letter is detailing the reasons why the lapse occurred, because his policy did expire on January 1st, 2023, so he was included in the January 31st suspension.
And this person had their license in retirement, correct? Or they're trying to.
They do not have it in retirement.
But he wants it in retirement?
That's what it says.
I believe once this
So what's the-
penalty is rectified, he would.
What's the $400?
400?
It says in here the fee request is
400
$400.
is the penalty for,
So it's the penalty. So
Not
he's
having the
paid-
E&O.
He's
After-
paid his E&O, everything is caught up, it's just a $400 fee.
well, yes, we have the
Okay.
E&O on file now, but once a licensee has been suspended for over 30 days, the statute is very clear. If you have a suspension due to E&O for over 30 days, the statute says it's a $200 penalty if you have no lapse in coverage. So up until a certain point, most insurance carriers will allow you to backdate your policy so that there's no lapse in coverage. If you are unable to backdate it or you don't backdate it, then the statute says it's a $400 penalty, and that is up until 120 days. So from 30 days of suspension to 120, the licensee either has a $200 penalty if they have continuous coverage, or $400 if there's a lapse in coverage.
I think the extenuating circumstance in this one, in my eye, is that this person had stage 4 cancer, which, as a cancer survivor, I can tell you, even though it's been 18 years for me, I still claim a little cancer fog brain sometimes. So I think that this person has been through a lot, and it just, I think the $400 fee request is something that's doable. Yes, I would like for you to make a motion.
I make a motion that we waive his $400 expense.
Second.
All right, we have a proper motion by Ms. Smith and a second by Mr. Begley that we accept this waiver and his fee request of $400. Any other discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. That motion carries unanimously. Okay, moving right along. Next, we have our Education Director's Report. Mr. E. Ross White is our director. Good morning, Mr. White.
Good morning, Chairman Franks and Commission. It's wonderful to be here in Jackson. Appreciate all the hospitality last night from Central Western Tennessee Association of Realtors. Today I have before you the May education agenda, and I have reviewed all the providers, instructors, and courses for today, M1 through M27. And if you would, they're for your review and approval.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions about these classes that are before us to approve? They all seem like good classes to me.
I move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a move to approve by Mr. Ferris and a second by Ms. Tolbert. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. That motion carries unanimously. Good job, Mr. White. And what about the educators for this month?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I have before you a list of 4 new instructors for your review and approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve those instructors by Mr. Ferris and a second by Mr. Moffitt. Any discussion on them? You do a good job going through these classes and educators. We appreciate your help. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. That motion carries unanimously, Mr. White.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the Commission.
Thank you so much. Anything else that we need to bring up education-wise?
I would like just to comment. I attended the Arello mid-year meeting in Boston a week or so ago. And at one of the committee meetings, it was discussed, and I think we have that in Tennessee, maybe in the forefront of something, as it relates to synchronous courses. Synchronous courses are those that can be given by Zoom. And then we have the ability now for a provider to also present those classroom and or by synchronous. So it was mentioned that it was a hybrid. I hadn't heard that term before, but in some of the meetings, so now we have, I think in Tennessee, we could say that we do allow that based upon the new legislation and rules that are coming. I defer to council on that. But I just wanted to mention that.
Very good. Okay, anything else? Anybody have questions for Mr. White? All right, Mr. White, thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the Commission.
Next, we have our Executive Director's Report. Ms. Maxwell?
I do not have a large update for the commission, but I did also want to mention an update from the Arello conference. I think the biggest takeaway from the licensing standpoint was some of the legislation that has passed in other states on unfair service agreements. And so Anna and I both have been looking at what has been passed in other states and are bringing that to our department to review, because we did have a law that was passed this past legislative session, but it doesn't really give the commission authority if somebody files a complaint with us on an unfair service agreement. And I'm meaning like a listing agreement that's 40 plus years or potentially puts a lien on the consumer's home. So that was a big topic of conversation throughout the conference, and something that we're looking into and pulling kind of the best legislation that we see that was passed this past session in other states. I know North Carolina passed a law, in Georgia and Florida, so we're taking bits and pieces from all of those states. And then otherwise...
So could I just say something
Yeah.
about that? This is, as I roll off this commission, it also means I roll off Arello. And I wanted to put in this plug for Arello. This is what I was mentioning to the commission maybe 4 or 5 months ago, that I had heard at an Arello meeting. And for the audience, there's a company that's a nationwide company now, and they offer, I think it's like $600. They'll pay someone to give them a 40-year right to list their property. In the event you forget about it and you let someone else list your property, they can and will and have been suing people for around $150,000. This is a nationwide thing, and I first heard about it at Arello, and within 4 months' time now, our state legislature is already taking a stance on it. Other states are really tightening up on it. I can tell you this company has a license in Tennessee. So I hope that after I'm gone that this commission will still see the benefit of Arello, because it's things like this that if we can get on the forefront of it, we're not the last state doing something about it, but that we can keep ahead of anybody that's trying to deceive the public or take advantage of consumers, because that's who we pledge to protect. So that's my little plug.
Yes. So we're on top of it,
Yeah.
and
I'm glad.
trying to make sure that we get some additional, and even if we can't bring it, make sure that we're working to get additional regulation. Some of the states have passed legislation that requires the work of the listing agreement to start within a certain time period, or only allows listing agreements to be for extended period of time. I think North Carolina is requiring a year. And then I think some has even gone as far as to address the liens, because I think the burdensome practice is that, maybe you sign the agreement, but currently the contract is on the home, and so it would pass on to your heirs or whoever inherits the home. So very burdensome, but we took some good takeaways from Arello as to what other states are doing. And I'm open to answer any questions. For the first time in a while, we've seen a drop in applications year over year for the month of April. We had record highs all throughout 2021 and 2022. As far as E&O goes, this year has also been a better year. We're down to, I think, around 1,000 licensees that are in suspended status, which is lower than our last E&O cycle.
So now that it's May, all of those 1,000 licensees that don't have E&O, so they're out there meanwhile practicing.
Well, they're suspended. I think we do find some that, maybe real estate isn't their primary practice, so their license gets suspended and they just never come back. So there's 1,000 that are in a suspended status. As to what they're doing, I do not know. But
Okay.
they have not contacted us to rectify the situation.
I hope they'll call soon.
Yeah. So, and then just a nice housekeeping reminder that the hearing that we were supposed to have today has been continued to June and will be Thursday after the meeting, starting at 8:30.
Okay.
What's the date on that, just while we're all together?
15th, I think, it's the third, it's the, 15th.
15th, yeah. So the commission meeting will be June 14th, Wednesday, and then the hearing will be June 15th at 8:30.
Gotcha, thank you.
And then, as a way of another reminder, that this is the first year that we're not doing a meeting in July on purpose. Last month, it seemed like everybody was on vacation in July, so we chose this year not to meet in July.
Yes, good reminder.
So,
You're free in July.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Catch up in August.
Okay. So, is that all that you have for us,
Yes.
Ms. Maxwell?
Unless
Thank you so
anybody has
much.
any questions for me, yes.
Okay. And I'd just like to take this point of privilege to be able to say to all of our staff that we have a great staff in place, and they have great hearts for our licensees and wanting to help people. They're not here to knock people down or try to keep them tied up or in any way. So everybody on our staff, our attorneys and everybody, is doing a great job. Aaron, he takes care of us in lots of different ways. So we really do appreciate our staffs, and you're doing a great job,
Yes,
Ms. Maxwell.
thank you, thank you.
Okay, so the next thing is our consent agenda. So I think we should take about a 10-minute break before we start the consent agenda. And then it is 9:41. We'll come back at let's just say 9:55. We'll do 9:55, so it'll be about 14 minutes. And remember, your mics are on, commissioners.